So today I'm gonna talk about how much I love winter salad crops as springtime ornamentals to remind myself that even though I don't eat a lot of lettuce, it's really pretty in the spring and it's kind of tying the yard together right now. If you look out over the whole yard, almost everything that's yellow and flowering or white is actually some sort of winter vegetable. These super awesome white flowers in this pot right here are actually radishes that have gone to flower. So I like to let the ones that start to bolt before making anything to eat just go ahead and flower. They blend nicely and give a nice little pop of white color. There's some lettuce I put in here I never really ate, but it's starting to go to seed. And next to these bright pink clovers, it's got a nice little shape. It's a pretty electric green color. So it's actually really nice and tying the yard together right now. Goes with that little poppy and everything we got going on here. And then back in here, this giant yellow flowering bush is actually a giant kale that's 2 years old now. It is now flowering, and bees love it. You can maybe see them in there. It's hard to see them with the film, but all these flowers are just kale flowers, and they're so bright and pretty and just really make the spring happy. I also have this giant kale that's almost done flowering, but is making a gazillion seeds. So I'll save those and replant them and start again. But then going down this whole row, all the bright white and yellow is kale or cilantro. And this bed right here, that's just brassicas and lettuce. Looks super lush and crazy. Even though I don't eat the lettuce, I was going to let it go to seed so I can save seeds for next year, because every year I just replant the same seeds for lettuce. So this is like my 4th year on the same packet of seeds. But I love how tall and crazy it looks. And then with the dark kale in the background with the yellow flowers, it's super nice. And it just looks tropical and weird. But it's really just lettuce that's going to seed, and then it'll have these huge seed heads that have yellow flowers. And this white flower here with the gentle pink blush, that's just another radish that's gone to seed. So this whole crazy bed here essentially is just all lettuce and salad crops. And then there's this insane mustard over here. I'm going to walk around because I need to remind myself how crazy, lush, and giant this mustard is. Next to this tall, dark green kale. And how it's just got this twirly mustard center. Starting to go to flower. And this mustard back here is just a wild mustard that's already flowering. And it's covered with bees all the time. The flowers are crazy bright yellow. Super pretty little clusters. So I'm really excited. This just seeded itself here. You can see Biscuits going by. She loves the mustard. And it's by these red poppies that are awesome. So I should let a few mustards remain in the beds that seed themselves because they're awesome early in the spring. And I also have this super huge kale on the end that's not flowering yet. But it is ginormous. There's a biscuit there too. And it's right by this super tall verbena, which you can kind of see when you look down this row. Starts with the verbena, and it's got these white flowers here, which again, this is a radish. And these are all cilantro, and then the yellow is dinosaur kale that's blooming. So, super pretty cilantro flowers. Going right into the kale. We got some lettuce in there that I didn't really ever eat. Yeah, but it just looks so pretty and twirly and such a bright color. So I need to remember to grow lettuce just because it's pretty in the spring. This one's insane. And here's this backside to all this flowering lettuce, pretty radishes. And I didn't grow any red lettuce because I'm like, I don't really like it. But now I can see how much this bed would have benefited from some tall red lettuce towers. Would just give it a whole different color. So I need to remind myself to grow red lettuce just because it's pretty. Even in this bed here with all these tomatoes, there was just 2 cilantro that self-seeded, so I didn't pluck those out when I weeded everything else. And now they're in there and pretty and blooming. I've harvested a lot of the leaves, tried to freeze them so when I have tomatoes I can make salsa. This bed's got white cilantro and then it blends into the mustard down here, which is just another wild lettuce crop. So yeah, this bed's pretty awesome, and it's the salad crops that are making it so pretty. And then even in this bed, that's almost all poppies and flowers and strictly ornamentals. That little pop of yellow back there is a curly kale that's blooming. And back here, this little white patch. And down here, the little white patch are radishes. This white is actually larkspur blooming, which we're finally getting some of those to start blooming. And then you come through these poppies and borage, which the bees love. But that's super nice. But the yellow part is, again, it's just a kale that's flowering. The bees love it. And in with this borage, which is technically a food, I guess. Super nice. Super nice. And then moving down, we've got more kale. It's not blooming yet, but the green color is nice with these poppies that aren't blooming and the larkspur that's not blooming, but it all soon will be. So it's doing well. And then there, we can just look at these tomatoes because we're here and they're so cute. So they're doing very well back there. Okay, and here's just a shot of Chris and Brittany's old raised beds. How pretty it is. And how much of that prettiness is actually just winter vegetables that are now bolting.